This is Spud here from HitStandNow.com, coming at you with another quick hit. Now, pretty much any gamers worldwide will know that this week has seen the 20th anniversary of PlayStation. Now, I'm a big PlayStation fan. I have been since PlayStation, you know what I mean? Since PS1. I've been on board with PS1, PS2, I've got myself a PS3 and a PSP. Haven't got the Vita, the 4 just yet, but sooner or later I will. Now, PlayStation to me is the definitive name in gaming. I'm a big PlayStation head straight up. But the PlayStation 1 specifically deserves kind of a shout out because it completely changed the way we play video games. You know, it brought 3D forward and it did it in a way that no other console was really doing at the time. A lot of things were trying, but not many really got it off. And nothing got it off quite as well as the PS1. It was an absolutely incredible machine, and the graphics blew us all away at the time. Like, remember that demo disc with the dinosaur on it? Show's over. Show's fucking over. It was amazing. It blew us away. I remember my first time playing the PlayStation. I remember playing this demo and it had a Jumping Flash and it had Loaded and a few others like that. My mind was fucking blown, man. I couldn't get over this shit. I was like, what the fuck? You know, it was dark, it was gritty, yet it was light and fluffy. It had graphics that blew me out the window. It had the likes of Tekken coming out on it. I remember playing Nova Storm. Absolutely unbelievable. I absolutely loved it. So today I'm going to give it a shout out and a couple of mentions to a few games that kind of changed the way I see gaming and changed the way a lot of others see gaming too. So to start off, we have the original Resident Evil. Now, if you haven't played the original Resident Evil, there is a remake coming out soon, which looks like it's going to do it some real justice. You know, it probably doesn't look like much now, but at the time, Resident Evil was absolutely terrifying. I've actually replayed it lately on the DS, it was called Resident Evil Deadly Silence, and it's still got great atmosphere to it. It's a survival horror game that pretty much defines survival horror games. Every survival horror game that came after it was made around the Resident Evil structure, really. Your Dead Space, your Silent Hill, shit, even your corpse party I can smell from Resident Evil off. You know, it was so scary. You went into a mansion, there were zombies. It doesn't sound like much, but it was. It was absolutely incredible. When you went toe to toe with that tyrant for the first time, or toe to toe with that giant snake in the attic, you know, just moving around that mansion and never knowing what was behind that next door, that loading scene where the door opened really slowly, terrifying, crushingly terrifying, and an absolutely spectacular game. Next up, of course, is the original Tomb Raider. Now, everybody in their mother knows I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. Again, I have been since before the first one. I've been a Tomb Raider fan actually since the demo that came with a PlayStation magazine months before the first one came out. It had about the first half of the second level, the little village level, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was so tranquil. It was so chilled out. Yeah, you were opening fire on bales, but it was so chilled out. The swimming mechanics were fantastic. That little tune, that little Tomb Raider fucking team tune that plays every once in a while, it's so relaxing. There's something about Tomb Raider 1 that has never, ever been better. You know, now, it doesn't play great these days. It's very clunky. It doesn't look great. Even its remake, the Tomb Raider Anniversary on PS2, which is one of my all-time favourite games, and it's absolutely stunning in every way, still is missing a little bit of that magic that the original Tomb Raider had. You know, that first step that you took as Lara Croft was absolutely astonishing. And look at her now, she's one of the gaming's biggest franchises. Like, you know what I mean? She's one of gaming's most recognisable faces. She's been absolutely everywhere. And I think that's fantastic. I fucking love Tomb Raider. I just love Tomb Raider. Next up after Tomb Raider is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Now, I'm a big fan of kind of extreme sports games, your Tony Hawk's, your SSX, that kind of stuff, Cool Borders, I love them. I love those kind of games. I'd even play BMX Triple X, and not just for the titties, they're a bonus. But I love that style of game, I always have, and this was what set me onto it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Now, I played a little bit of Pro Skater 1, and I thought, that's not bad. 2 blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. You got to create your own character and go around all these levels in 2-minute intervals, trying to be just as good as you could in order to raise your stats and become even better. Hitting all these gaps and finding all these gaps around the place was fantastic fun. Doing these massive jumps during the competitions and getting ridiculous amount of spins and flips into them and trying to land it perfectly. Man, myself and my best mate just had a blast all summer playing this when it came out. It was an absolutely brilliant game. Playing that, listening to Bon Jovi, life was good. Life was fucking good. Well, next up, we have Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid, again, is still kind of going these days. There's Metal Gear Solid 5 point something going on at the moment. I'll be honest, I lost interest after Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 1 is another one that I remember playing the demo of before I played the actual game. And again, blew me away. It was a game that didn't play like a video game. It was a game that played like a movie. It was big into cinematics. It was big into communication and talking to all the other members of your team over this little codec headset that Solid Snake had built into his ear. It wasn't about coming out guns blazing like fucking Loaded was. It was about sneaking around and coming up behind guys, fucking breaking their necks, sneaking away and hiding their bodies before the other guys saw them. It had this big, over-the-top, elaborate fucking, somewhere between James Bond and comic book kind of bullshitty story, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. And Solid Snake became, again, just one of the most recognizable faces in video games. Everybody knows who Snake is. He's coming out a bunch of different forms at this stage. He even turned up a fucking Super Smash Bros. Snake is huge, hiding in a box and shit. But Metal Gear Solid blew everybody away at the time. Remember Psycho Mantis? Remember putting your joypad down and Psycho Mantis would make it move across the floor? You got actual joypad moving across the floor due to its vibration and the DualShock? That's really something. It was like a Jedi of a fucking video game, man. He'd read the games that you had on your memory card. It did things that nobody else dared to do, and hell, it still holds up. It still does things that nobody else dares to do, because if anybody else did them, they'd be cheesy. The only other person to get away with it is Suda51. Absolutely brilliant. Grand Theft Auto. Enough said. Grand Theft Auto. The first one ain't pretty. It ain't pretty, but it started an absolute roller coaster of video gaming. Think about it, what kind of crime simulators was there before Grand Theft Auto? I personally cannot think of any. Grand Theft Auto was huge, and it was pig ugly. It was top down, 2D, didn't look well, didn't play well, but had an edge to it, and that edge really, really pushed it. And that edge is what got everybody on board. It was huge, it was controversial as shit. You were robbing cars, you were running over dudes, And if the difference between the original Grand Theft Auto and the Grand Theft Auto 5 is just mind-blowing. If you've never seen the original Grand Theft Auto, if you're one of my younger viewers, that's cool. That's cool, but check it out. Do a little bit of YouTube and just compare the then and the now. Your mind will be blown. Die Hard Trilogy, quick shout out to Die Hard Trilogy for being shit tons of fun. I love Die Hard Trilogy. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was 3 games built into one. You had one kind of isometric action shooter, a light gun shooter, and a driving game. And they all played like they were straight off an arcade machine. They were so much fun. Now, I've played this again recently, and graphically, it doesn't hold up well, but it's still so much fun. If you can get one of your mates around for a bit of 2-player on the light gun game in it, Die Hard 2, you're going to have a lot of fun. Of course, no PlayStation collection is complete without talking about Final Fantasy VIII. No, seriously, I'm a big Final Fantasy VIII fan. That's why we've been through that before, but I have to give shout outs to Final Fantasy VII. If not, I will be shot. I am not a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, but I've got a lot of respect for the game. I completely understand why people are such big fans. I understand what it has done for gaming as a whole. You know, what it's doing not only for fucking Final Fantasy, not only for the PlayStation name, and not only for RPGs, but for all of that and more. You know, it's regarded the best game of all time. I don't think it holds up personally to the best game of all time. It's not my personal favourite, you know, but I can completely understand why it's up there. And I have to take my hat off to it and give it a little bit, you know, because it deserved it. It blew my mind at the time. The graphics, the music, the story. We hadn't seen anything like that. And it's really something. I believe it's coming out again now on PlayStation 4 pretty soon. One last one for good luck, which is Twisted Metal World Tour. Twisted Metal World Tour is another one of my all-time favourites. It's dark, it's gritty. You pick from a selection of cards and blow up other cards. It doesn't sound like much, but it's all throughout the game. You and the other combatants, all who are weird kind of fucking psychotic motherfuckers. The whole lot of you pretty much bring forth the apocalypse by just trashing the entire planet. That's heavy shit. Not only is that heavy shit, but it was so much fun. It's fast, it's difficult, two-player co-op's incredible. It was just so much fun, and it's a hell of a game, and it's one of the representatives of the PlayStation name. Sweet Tooth, again, it's so recognizable. He's up there with Kratos for PlayStation, or Homeboy from Uncharted. You know, the PlayStation was just an absolute animal. I don't think there was a home in Ireland that didn't have a PlayStation there. You know, everybody had one. Whether you were playing the games that I just mentioned, or whether you were playing Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, Bishy Bashy Special, the list goes on and on. Wipeout, I could be here all day, but I'm not going to. It was an absolute animal of a console, and it changed gaming. It brought gaming up by making it kind of dark and gritty at times, and it was the teenagers' console. You know, it was kind of when gaming hit adolescence. Now gaming is kind of for adults, and that's cool. You know, mostly that's cool. But at the time, it grew with the gamers. It stepped out of pretty 2D kind of Super Mario World vibe that was going on at the time, which was a great vibe, but it stepped up and it changed things, and it got dark and it got heavy, and it was so much fun. And 20 years later now, the PlayStation still holds up and it's still an absolute animal. So, hats off to PlayStation. It's given me 20 years worth of good games, and I still love it. I can't say thank you enough to PlayStation. This is Spud from HitStartNow.com, signing off. Good luck. Thank you very much for watching more about HitStartNow.com Quick Hits. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. You can also catch us at HitStartNow.com, where we have written reviews, monthly blogs, infamous monthly podcasts. You can catch us as well on @HitStartNow on Twitter and /HitStartNow on Facebook. All of these will be linked down below in the description. Thank you very much.